Hey, y'all, it's Garth, the Big 615. You're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. That's the thing we call the Big 615.
Download the free TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. Or ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhale out.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
Odyssey and KEYN bring you Concerts in the Park, sponsored by IHOP. Free live music Friday from 8 to 10 in Andover Central Park at the Capitol Federal Amphitheater, 1607 East Central in Andover there. This Friday's Ante Up. Bring your lawn chairs, blankets, extra cash for the food trucks. No coolers allowed. The gates will open up at 6:30, so check that out. All right, so this has been just a wacky, 20 minutes or so for the weather. So Jad has another update for us. You can find a video my wife just sent me of like a hole in the sky. But Jad, what's the latest here?
Well, just checking with the folks at the National Weather Service out there, and what they're saying now is that the biggest area of concern right now is kind of moved into Butler County, and that outflow from the storm that's actually kind of ahead of the storm itself, where the big wind gusts were actually prompting this particular storm warning, that's going to be all in Butler County, and they're saying that the wind gusts there in Butler County just aren't as strong as they were across the Sedgwick County area, and so at least one of the National Weather Service meteorologists is now saying that this may prompt the warning to be expired early. It's going to expire in about 11 minutes or so, but they might jump it down early, so it looks like this thing's kind of fizzling out almost as quickly as it kicked up.
Okay. Well, there we go. That one has been an interesting development this morning. Thank you, Jad. Jad will keep us up to date on any other developments along with that.
Will do.
All right, Tommy, let's continue this Royals talk because it's got us rolling just a little bit. So here's the other interesting thing about the salary. Like, I don't blame that at all. Like, that hasn't been a thing for me. As far as like this struggle, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, if the Royals would just spend more, right? Like, maybe they could be a bigger player for some, but it wouldn't have mattered. Like, we know now that nothing they would have done individually in bringing in a player in the offseason, like nothing would have changed this. So I don't have an issue with, and again, they're nowhere near the bottom of the league in payroll, by the way. But I don't have an issue as much with like spending because I want them to spend, but spend when it's smart to spend, right? Spending when it's making sure Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't go anywhere. Or if you have, that's the problem, they don't really have any young players to spend it on. And they've shown us in recent history, if they do, they will. They just don't have it right now.
Yeah, here's my issue with just where things stand for the Royals right now is that, I mean, it's like a 10-step process, right, to get from where they are now to where they want to be. And 10 may even be conservative. But for the sake of this argument, let's say it's a 10-step process. It's not a one-step process or a two-step process. There's a lot that they have to do. And there are multiple facets in the organization that need significant improvement. And, everybody was told that the coaching changes this past offseason, that was going to be the start of the rebuild, right? Or at least like this version of the rebuild. No more Dayton Moore, no more Mike Matheny, no more Cal Eldred, bringing in Matt Quatrero, bringing in, some other fresh coaching voices in the clubhouse. So that was supposed to be one of the early steps. That hasn't worked. So now you got to look at, all right, well, do they need to do that step over again? And then how do they build the farm system? And that's not an overnight fix. That's a multi-year fix, and that is a combination of drafting well, trying to get proper draft picks, developing those draft picks. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and it was shocking. I didn't even realize this, that the Royals have 0 top 100 players in their farm system. 0. None. They don't have a single one. And so, this is a long process for rebuilding the farm system, developing the young players. And so I think it would be really easy for us to say, yeah, all they got to do is just go out and get a couple of free agents. No, it runs much, much deeper than that. It's a multi-step process, and it's not an overnight thing. And so I think what makes us so discouraging is that I think we both see them at the very, very beginning of this process, and we don't exactly know how many steps it is and how successful they're going to be in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it is. And that's, to me, the most frustrating thing about it, too, right? This should be the point where it's like, okay, let's open up the purse and go. And maybe John Sherman thought that was going to be the timeline. The timing is unfortunate for Sherman. I mean, there's no, in a new downtown ballpark and all that. I don't know. Like, I try to come up with these optimistic timelines, and I had them 2 years ago because I was sort of banking on the development of some of these players. It's just not there. So, I think you continue, and I hear people say, oh, you just got to blow it all up. Just blow it all up. There's nothing to blow up. Like, what are you going to blow
up?
It's
already been blown up, yeah.
The only thing is, the debate only becomes whether you keep Bobby Witt Jr. Like that. I suppose if there was a world where somebody offered you the moon for Bobby Witt Jr., you could think about it, but that doesn't make any sense either. Like, you got to build around something. And so I don't know what the answer is. Get lucky? I mean, honestly, that's it, right? Get lucky. Get lucky that you get a few players developed that you can try to build around, and you can, piece this thing together somewhat through free agency. But the reality of baseball has been, in recent years, you have to tear it down, and it'll take 2 or 3 years, and you got to you got to build it back up. We're in, what year are we in now? Year 5, 6 of this rebuild?
Do you think there is an argument to be made where the Royals could go out and maybe try to make a splash in free agency this offseason? Like, I know they typically don't spend a lot of money, but maybe be in the conversations to try to get some of the more top-tier free agents on the market, or is that basically cutting off their nose to spite their face?
No, let me just pull up what the free agents cost. The top end, no, because it's too high. Like, it's way, way too high. I mean, you're talking if their salary, if their payroll right now is $95 million, okay, like per season, Aaron Judge just signed for half of that, right? So he'd be taking up a third of your payroll. Trey Turner took $27 million a year, still probably too high. DeGrom as a pitcher signed for $37 million a year. Like, I don't know. And Verlander signed for 43. So now I'm putting them in order. Correa 33, Turner 27, Rodon 27. I mean, you go down the list. Anthony Rizzo cost $20 million a year. That's 20% essentially of your payroll if you go there. Now, if you go further down the list, so then what are we talking about? Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers, who's been fantastic, signed for $17 million. That feels like the ceiling of a free agency. Andrew Benintendi, former Royal, right? $15 million. That's probably the range that they could get in, but you're talking about, guys at that point have to be cornerstone pieces of your franchise. In a perfect world, you've spent on all your young players, and those are players that sort of put you over the edge, right?
So
but they're just not in that market.
And looking at upcoming potential free agents this offseason, it's very, very pitcher heavy. And so outside of Shohei Ohtani, I mean, you're looking at Julio Urias from the Dodgers, Max Scherzer from the Mets, Aaron Nola from the Phillies. Who else is on there? Luis Severino from the Yankees, Blake Snell from the Padres, Clayton Kershaw from the Dodgers. There's a lot of pitchers that are on this list where, they're all, you would think, probably going to they're all going to garner a lot of interest, but garner a lot more money than what the Royals are probably willing to spend. That being said, there might be one of those guys that, you mentioned that cornerstone, could be a cornerstone for them. I don't think any of them at all, when push comes to shove, will end up with Kansas City. But I don't know. I don't know if you have to try to accomplish both things at the same time, like develop your young players and open up the checkbook to get some more premier free agents, or exactly what that process is.
So I do think this year, this coming off season, one of the challenges of free agency won't exist, and that's that you don't want to block young players, right? That challenge is out the window because there's no young players to block
nobody
anymore.
To block. Yep.
Right. So let's assume next year, you've got Bobby Witt Jr. and Pasquantino, maybe Prado and Maikel Garcia, is the guys you're building around. Okay, so you got a lot of room there, and in the pitching staff, you basically have nobody, right? Like,
yep.
You've pretty much got zero there. So could you go get three? Could you go spend $45 million on 3 starting pitchers just to sort of be competitive? Maybe.
Yeah, I think you could.
Is that better than sucking and having a higher draft pick? Although I will say, I believe that they don't have a chance to be at the very top of the draft. So yeah, maybe next year is the year when they don't have that opportunity anyway because of the new lottery type system. Yeah, I mean, I think. Because then at that point, and it would be nothing other than an olive branch from John Sherman to the fan base if you do that. Like, guys, I promise, we are committed to winning. We're just, in the bad part of this. This should have nothing to do with putting a ballpark downtown. We are going to commit to it. So I don't know. I don't challenge that aspect of things for the Royals, like the A's or some of these other teams. I don't fault that as the reason for their failure. The reason for their failure is because they can't develop any players. That's the reason. They haven't drafted well, they haven't developed well, and it has just created this cycle now that feels like it's got to start all over. That's the issue. And I don't think anything but time is going to correct that. 869-1240. That's
By
the
way,
number.
really quickly, the Royals just announced that John Sherman will meet with the media on Thursday morning. So doing a press conference. That doesn't happen very often. So he's meeting with the media. I'm guessing to talk about the new stadium potential. I'm not sure, but they just announced that 1 minute ago.
Well, that's interesting. Could that be something bigger? On June 27th? Huh. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll come back. We'll do a little giveaway. We'll get you ready. Hour number 2, we're going to talk some football. Who's got a chance to win a Super Bowl? How many teams are there? Really. Not just maybe, but really have a chance. 869-1240 is the IHOP hotline. We'll be right back.
Life comes with a lot of decisions, and it can be hard to know the right path sometimes. A therapist can help you map out what you really want, so you trust yourself to make great choices and feel excited about the future. BetterHelp offers convenient professional online therapy on your schedule, however you want it, by phone, chat, or video call. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/positive.
Tired of buying a bunch of different shorts for working out, looking good, and just life in general? Try Bird Dogs. They feel like gym shorts, but look like khaki shorts. The ultra-breathable fabric keeps you cool, and the built-in liner is an added layer of support. To top it all off, Bird Dog shorts look so good you can wear them anywhere. Go to birddogs.com/MLB and enter promo code BASEBALL for a free baseball hat with your order. That's birddogs.com/MLB, promo code BASEBALL for a free hat. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off, we promise you.
Looking for an adventure? Find yours in a Toyota. Like a Camry with stylish design and a reputation for reliability that can't be beat. Or go with a Corolla, both affordable and capable. With so many trims and features to choose from. Or check out the new Crown, presenting you with luxurious style and elegant amenities to make your day a breeze. No matter your adventure, Toyota has you covered. Visit buyatoyota.com for more. Toyota, let's go places.
Does an orthopedic condition or sports injury have you sidelined? Make your comeback with GW Hospital Sports Medicine. We offer services from neck to toe, including care for shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, and hands. Plus, we're the official healthcare partner of GW Athletics, the DC Furies, and the DC Revolution. Get back to doing the things you love. Learn more at gwhospital.com/sportsmed or call 888-4GW-DOCS. Physicians are not employees or agents of this hospital.